Hello, wonderful people. Andy here. I coach men and women on living lives of abundance and joy. If they can all do it, you sure as hell can too. Let's have a little bit of a chill session. Let's talk about some of your questions, some of your comments. So, I did a video called The Universe is a Mirror. Words are magic spells. And in this video, I said a lot of the suffering that all of you or a lot of you are feeling comes from your own sort of internal mindset. And I said, as a really fun exercise, go outside one day, walk around, and think nothing but really positive thoughts. Like in your head, repeat positive thoughts over and over again. Everybody's nice, the world is wonderful, people are kind, all of that. And just see how you feel and see how the outside world treats you. And then the next day, go out and think nothing but negative thoughts. Repeat to yourself in your head, the world sucks, everyone's an asshole, this is all awful, blah, 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 and see how you feel and see how the world treats you. So that was that video. So Winged Magician commented here and said, I tried it, as in that exercise, walking my dog for an extra long walk yesterday and today. It works, but I have to say the negative one worked a little too, just not as much as the positive. By default, all the negative things are already happening underneath it all, so doing it consciously helped me validate it or see its ridiculousness. Yes, a lot of people default to sort of negative thoughts by default. It's the script that is running in most people's head. I've said this many, many, many times, but the vast majority of human beings on this planet are playing not to lose. They're terrified of something going wrong. They believe all of their own fears are real and substantiated. They will pick up or bring up evidence to support that, and then they will dismiss any evidence to the contrary. Like most of us, most people, are very, very, very negatively oriented by default. And anytime something positive happens, they'll say, that was a fluke, that doesn't count, or yeah, that was positive, but what if it had gone wrong? Or yeah, that's positive, but it's not good enough. I need more positive stuff to happen. This is evidence that it's actually negative. And people will take positive things that happen in their life and frame it in the negative, even though it was something positive that happened, or we could say that it was positive. So good job doing this exercise. And any of you that want to go and try this yourself, be gentle with this exercise. Like I said, go out one day, think nothing but negative thoughts in your head, keep repeating it for a couple hours, and walk around and just see how the outside world feels and how people respond to you. Then the next day, try being positive and see what changes. You'll probably find the entire fucking world looks a little bit different because it's all the mental state that we have that we then project onto the rest of the world. But Winged Magician, good job doing the exercise. And here's another comment on the same video. So Jared Bond says, yo, even just leaving a comment is disrespectful after that near hour of eloquent red-pilled truth. You might be making a little joke here, but we can certainly frame this as disrespectful. Or we could say, isn't it beautiful that you're sharing a comment? Isn't it nice that you're sharing your wisdom or your thoughts or your feelings with all of us? I feel very blessed to get to hear what you have to say. So maybe you were just making a joke, but I've just come to see that a lot of jokes have an element of truth in them. And if you phrase the things that you're doing as like disrespectful or not good enough, or I should do something else, like there's sort of an implicit statement here that because I did a video of an hour of trying to help all of you, you feel like you have to do more than leave a comment, or a comment is not good enough. And in fact, in your words, it's disrespectful. Who would you be without that story? What if you were just able to listen to my 1 hour video and go, oh, that was really cool, that helped. Maybe I'll give something back. Like, who would you be without the guilt or the shame or that feeling of, oh my God, I'm almost owed, or Andy is owed something for this video that he put out. Like, if you didn't see a world that was based in shame and guilt, you know, that people need to reciprocate, or if someone gives me something for free, I have to give them something back. Without that shame, without that guilt, you might be a free man, my friend. But you go on to say, what more is there to be said? It's true. I spin my own negativity like a prayer wheel. Okay, you're very self-aware. Isn't that incredible? Look how self-aware you are about this. It's been this way since age 18. I couldn't let go of my misfortune back then. Yeah, we can't let go of our negativity until we realize how to do that. Like, I say this a lot. Those of you that are maybe caught up in negative thinking or guilt or shame or any of that, I don't blame you for that. You're innocent in that. I myself have believed my own bullshit a billion times. It's what our brains do. It's what our ego is there for. It's to reinforce our own narratives about the world, our own negativity, our own opinionation, and the opinions that we hold. Like, the ego's job is to reinforce the ego. The ego's job is to believe everything it thinks. That is literally its only job. The ego's job is not there to be happy. The ego would rather be right than be happy. And that has played out throughout human history millions of times, hasn't it? How many people literally were willing to die for their negative beliefs or their own beliefs, like Hitler and Stalin and Lenin and all of that? They're willing to take their shit to the grave before they will ever admit that maybe they were slightly wrong. They'd rather just die. And so the ego would often rather be right than be happy. And so all of that said, yeah, you didn't know any better. When you were 18, even now, you probably just don't realize that freedom is only a single letting go away, as in all the thoughts that you're believing, all the stories that you're believing, you could let them go, and you would if you knew how. And so again, we're innocent in that. Now, that doesn't mean don't take responsibility, but it's to let go of the beating yourself up and the guilt tripping and the shame and all of that. You were believing your own stories because you didn't know any better. You go on to say, it prevented me from building any sort of life. I only live to tell my story, said the ego. That is, like I said, the ego's favorite thing is like, I'm just here to tell my story. Me, me, me. It's all about my story. Who would you be if you focused on things other than just telling your story? What if you focused on building something beautiful? What if you focused on letting go of your story? Who would you be without your story? One of my favorite books from one of my favorite people, Byron Katie. Who would you be without your story? But it's not one that's even relevant anymore. I have been absent from society out of spite, thinking that they didn't deserve me. But in reality, no one notices. Yeah, I say this a lot. Nobody's really going to notice you if you hide yourself away from the world. Like, people aren't going to break into your house and go, oh my God, I notice you. And in fact, actually, even that's not entirely true. A lot of the time people do notice us, but when we're full of spite and hate and self-hatred, and we're attached to our own stories and attached to our own ego and attached to our status as a victim, we often like to say that we're a victim, and you're doing it a little bit here, and that's okay, my friend. I've done that a million times myself too. But when we're attached to our story as the victim, other people try and give us stuff. They try and be nice to us. I did a free video that you watched where I was trying to give you goodness, and you're doing your best, but you've met that attempt, like my attempt to help you, you've met that with negativity. And that's not me judging you, but do you see what I'm trying to get at here? A lot of the time, the world wants us to be happy, and people will actively try and help us. I mean, I'm sitting here recording you essentially free coaching. But your mind, if it's very stuck in its own negativity and its own role or status as a victim, will reject my attempt to help. You might listen to my words and just dismiss them. My attempts to help you and give you something will be met with, they'll just fall on deaf ears. And so a lot of the time, it's not even true that no one notices. I notice you, my friend. I'm sitting here reading out this video or reading out this comment in a video. I notice. So is it even true that nobody notices? No. It's a big load of bullshit. But we like to stick to our stories, don't we? We like to attach to our stories of nobody notices me and it's not fair and society ignores me. I'm not ignoring you. There's probably a lot of people, guys and girls listening, feel free to leave a positive comment for Mr. Jared Bond here. Write something nice to him. Tell him that he's loved, or tell him that he can improve himself, or tell him just something. Tell him that you notice him and that you care about him and that you want him to be happy. And what you're going to find, Mr. Jared Bond 7908, what a username, is that lots of people have probably noticed you in life. You've just chosen to look the other way. And so we can kind of do what's called a turnaround here. You're telling the story that no one notices you. Do you notice other people? How much are you really noticing my attempts to help you? Are you really noticing right now? Or is your head, your ego too busy defending? Are you too busy ignoring what I'm saying? Are you noticing other people? When was the last time you really noticed someone when you went outside? Like, really got to understand them on a deep core level? When was the last time you sat down with someone and empathized with them and said, hey, tell me about you. I'm here to notice. When was the last time you, I don't know, went and found a homeless person and said, hey, you probably feel like nobody notices you, my friend. I feel like that too. I just want you to know that I notice you. Is there something I can do for you? When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you noticed someone in need? And all this time that we spend focusing on ourselves and our own stories and our own narrative of us as the victim, we're not noticing other people. We're too busy being up here in our own misery, our own suffering, and that's okay. Like, again, you don't know any better. If it was that easy to just snap your fingers and get over yourself and stop being a victim and go and be kind to other people and make the world a brighter place, you would. Like, you would if you knew how. It can take a little practice. You might be too stuck in your own stories. You might not want to give that up, because I've said this many times. When we're in the role of victim, or when we're in the role of like, it's not fair and humanity ignores me and, the world isn't bright and millions like me were betrayed, nobody notices me. When we're stuck in that, my God, do we get a lot out of that story? We get to be the victim. We don't have to improve. It can be a lot of work to go out there and improve. It seems quite scary to say, I'm going to let go of my narratives. I'm going to risk failure. I'm going to risk rejection. I'm going to put in effort to change. I'm going to go and read a bunch of books to change. I'm going to go seek coaching or help or talk to a support group or something. I'm going to have to be vulnerable, or I'm going to choose to be vulnerable with those people. That's all very scary. And so we wrap ourselves up in this protective layer of our stories, our narratives. We say, nobody notices me, the world is dark, humanity sucks, blah, blah, blah. And we'll let out a little bit of self-awareness, like, you're quite self-aware here, but then we quickly run back to our protective layer of, the world betrayed me, millions betrayed, nobody notices me, I'm absent out of society, I only live to tell my story. All of that is you trying to protect yourself, man. You're just trying to keep yourself safe. That's what the ego does. Like I said, it loves to confirm its own narratives, it loves to protect itself, and it loves to avoid rejection. It loves to avoid putting in effort. It loves to shy away from evolving or learning or growing. Deep down, the ego is a little child that wants the whole world to just fuck off. Sometimes. That's what the ego wants. It wants the whole world to just fuck off and leave me alone. Great. But then you'll complain when people do that, don't we? Isn't that a funny thing that we do, that our brains do automatically? When we're hurt, or when we believe our own stories, when our stories have hurt us, we will say to the whole world, I want you all to fuck off. Like, you can all fuck off. You've all betrayed me. Why don't you all fuck off? And then people will go, okay, I guess you want me to fuck off. I guess I'll leave you alone. And then you go, yeah, nobody notices me. See how they all just walk away? And you're like, but that's what you said you wanted. And that's a human thing. I do this too sometimes, my friend. Like, there are times I'm hurt and my brain will say, I want everyone to just leave me alone. I have literally had that thought recently, like in the last couple of months. I've had the thought of, I wish the world would just leave me alone. And it's like, okay, but that would mean literally all your friends don't contact you. That would mean Imogen ignores you and just disappears. That would mean no one applies for the coaching program. No one leaves a comment. Nobody in the coaching program writes a comment or asks for help or anything. Do you really want the world to leave you alone? And then you're like, no, it's just that part of me that's trying to protect myself. That ego that just wants the world to fuck off, but then will get upset when that happens, or if that even looks like it might happen. And so it's funny that we become almost like schizophrenic. Our egos can be very schizophrenic. It's like, I hate humanity. Wait, why does humanity hate me? How come people don't pay me attention? Why don't women like me? Why don't I have any friends? It's like, because you said you hate humanity. Why would humanity then knock on your door and be like, hello, we love you? And sometimes people will. I'm sitting here, my friends, saying that I love you. I'm sure there are people in the comments that'll say the same thing. Humanity loves you. You're just too busy saying, fuck off humanity. And then immediately saying, wait, why did you all fuck off? Because you told us to. And we didn't even fuck off. We're right here. No one notices. I notice. There are people in the comments that notice. No one notices. We're so attached to these stories that we will literally tell lies to ourselves. We will ignore reality. We will almost put our blinders on and go like this. And there's people beyond our eyes. If we would just do that and open our eyes, we'd see people there that care about us. We'd see a society that wants us to be happy. And yeah, some people in society want you to be miserable. Sure, some people in society might betray you, but there's tons of people that would love you, that would help you. But we're too busy doing this and closing our eyes and going, go away. There's nothing beyond my hands. If I take my hands away, you're all just going to hurt me. And we're standing there on the other side of you doing this. And we're like, no, drop your hands just a little bit. Take your hands away just a little bit. I promise we won't hurt you. Some people might hurt you, but Plenty of people won't hurt you. I promise we care about you. And we're like, no, get away from me. You're lying to me. Go away. You're just going to hurt me like everybody else has. You're just going to betray me. I only live to tell my story. And we're all like, okay, if you want us to leave, we can leave. And then we leave. And then you finally take your hands away and you're like, why'd you all leave? Where is everybody? You told them all to fuck off. And again, it's not just you, man. Like, this is such a common thing that humans do. Our brains simultaneously want to protect us, but then hurt other people. And then we feel hurt. And then other people sometimes give that back to us. You know, that was the point of this video, the original video that I did called The Universe is a Mirror, Words and Magic Spells. If we go around telling the world to fuck off and we say, you all betrayed me, society's let me down, humanity sucks, I only live to tell my story, you know, I'm not even relevant, I'm ditching society out of spite. Some people, plenty of people in society will say, well, fuck you. They'll give you that straight back. And then you go, shit, why did they give me the middle finger? Why did society leave? That was the point of the video. The universe is a mirror. If you go around saying fuck you to everybody or get away from me, you're just going to hurt me, fuck off, I don't have time for you, some people will give you that straight back. I'll say most people will give you that back, including me. Like, you've been really honest and vulnerable in this comment, but like, let's imagine for a second. I don't think this is you, by the way, Jared, but like, there have been plenty of people in the comments who I will try and help. Like, I will genuinely try and help them. I'll record a video for them, or I will write a comment to them, like a reply. I will try and help them. And then they will actively say to me, fuck off. Like, they will literally say the words fuck off, or they will say something unkind, or they will lash out, or they will defend and argue and all of that. And then I take a deep breath and I say, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? You told me to fuck off. The kindest thing I could do for you is fuck off. You asked me to leave you alone. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to leave. I'm going to respect your wishes. I'm going to leave. And then that person will say, why does nobody ever try and help me? Nobody cares about me. Because you told the person or the people, I'm not going to be the only one. You told all the people that were trying to help you to fuck off. And again, Jared, that's not you. You're not doing that, my man. But maybe you can't see it, but you're very stuck in your own narratives here, man. Like, every sentence that you've written here is just not true. But you, as I talked about in a video recently, worship your own ego as if it was God. And if you search on my channel for the word ego or God, there's this video here. Why you're unhappy, you think your ego is God. And we do that a lot, don't we? A thought will enter our head like, you know, society sucks, or it's not fair, or people are assholes, or something like that. And we'll just assume that that's true. Like, we literally worship our ego by default as if everything it says is the unequivocal truth. Like, literally, we put our own egos above everyone else in society and any expert and people who actually might know what they're talking about. We dismiss all of that and we say, no, I'm true. I'm correct. My ego is correct. Based on nothing except the thought was in your head. And then we do what's called a post hoc rationalization, where we go quickly rummaging around and we go, I got to find evidence for my weird, insane thing that I just said. I got to quickly compile some evidence. Well, here's the evidence. There's a bit more evidence. There's some other evidence. But then if someone presents us with counter evidence, which I'll do that in a second so we can have some tangible, actual stuff to work with here. But if someone presents us with counter evidence, we'll say, that's not true. You're missing the point. Ignore that. Fuck you. We'll defend. We'll push it away. We will ignore any evidence to the contrary. And this is called confirmation bias, where we have a story or a narrative in our head, and we believe all the evidence that agrees with that narrative, but then any evidence to the contrary, we will push it away. And that's just what the ego likes to do. It likes to say, I'm correct, and whatever is in my head is correct. Essentially, I'm God. My thoughts are God, and they are holy doctrine that can never be argued with. And so we can kind of go through some of your points here, man. And I won't spend too long on this, because it's not going to do anything if you don't believe it. So this is up to you to do. But you can play around with some of the things that you've said here. And what you might find is everything you've written here is basically, if I say it in a blunt way, I would say bullshit. But I'll say it in maybe a kinder way that might be a little bit more acceptable to you and to the defensive ego. Everything you've written here is one way of looking at things. In my Play to Win video course, there's a chapter called Everything is a Story, and you're in control of the stories that you tell. And so we could tell a story that's a little bit more negative or a little bit more sad or whatever you want to call it. Or we could equally tell a story that's a little bit more positive. Which story is correct? Well, both of them are correct, or neither of them are correct, or they're both half correct, or maybe there's some truth in one or the other. It doesn't really matter, but they're all just stories. And I like to tell the stories that serve me. Do you feel happy and peaceful and full of love and abundance? And do you like your life when you believe these stories that you've written here? Like, are you happy? Very quick answer. Fuck no, of course I'm not. Like, I just wrote you a comment about how I'm not happy. Okay, what if we try out a different story that's maybe 1% more positive and see how that feels? That was the point of my original video in the first place. So let's play around a little bit. Let's go through every sentence that you've written here and just see if we can dig a little deeper and see if maybe there's a different way of phrasing things. So the first one, even just leaving a comment is disrespectful. It would be disrespectful to just leave a comment. Is that true? You can say that it's disrespectful. You can probably come up with a bunch of evidence as to why it's disrespectful. But let's try a different story. Let's say that it might be disrespectful. Or let's try saying it would be incredibly generous of you to give a comment. I mean, the first piece of evidence for that, because we want evidence, I'm not just making up stories. Let's look for actual, tangible, real evidence. We're not here to argue with reality or say bullshit or make stuff up. We're here to tell the truth. We're here to come to some sort of truth or a different version of truth, but we still want truth. And so let's try telling a story that leaving a comment is generous of you. I mean, you've poured your heart and soul out to me. I really appreciate that. You literally make me trust and love humanity more the more any of you share your innermost thoughts and feelings. Like, you have essentially opened your diary up to all of us. And you might say, it's just a comment on YouTube. No, this is how you actually feel. And I feel somewhat privileged by the fact that you have shared this with me and all the rest of us. That takes incredible courage. You have inspired me. I now feel a tiny bit more open to being more vulnerable myself. And I'm already pretty fucking vulnerable and open. But you've now reinforced, if I can be this courageous with some of my coaches and the people that I look up to, maybe they'll try and help me. Because I'm sitting here trying to help you. And so you've literally reinforced to me in my head, the more vulnerable and open you are, the more some, not all, but some people will want to help you. So you've given me a beautiful gift there, my friend. You've given a bunch of other people in the comment section a gift, because some of them might listen to this video and maybe they can see in themselves the same stuff that they might see in you. And maybe when they look at you and some of the stuff you're believing and thinking, and they listen to my words, maybe something in them begins to shift or change. And so you've given a gift to all of them. You've given me content. This morning I wanted to record something, but I'm really tired today and I didn't really feel like sitting down and just doing a normal video. And so reading people's comments is like easy. It's so easy to respond and react to all of your comments. I've said this before. All of you do me a fucking favor when you leave comments and ask for help. And I know you didn't directly ask for help. You're more just sharing what you're going through, but like, whatever, same thing. When you guys and girls leave comments, you do me a fucking favor. And so it's funny that your first story is just literal bullshit. Even leaving a comment is just disrespectful. What the fuck? You can tell that story if you want to, but that's you on an island of one believing a load of bullshit, if I'm honest. Like a load of codswallop. A load of bullshit, mate. It's bullshit. You didn't even ask. Like, you didn't ask. You just assumed. Andy, I'm assuming leaving a comment is disrespectful to you. Why don't you ask the person involved? And I would immediately be like, why would it be disrespectful? What an interesting take. I appreciate your opinion, but like it's a pretty fucking wrong opinion. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong for you to have that opinion, but I'm saying it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. It's disrespectful to leave a comment. Ask the person involved and they will tell you, like me, no, I'm grateful that you left a comment. Thank you. You've given me a great gift here. And then you're like, oh. So my story of this being disrespectful, that could be wrong. Yeah, we're on the first fucking sentence and you're already 180 degrees away from reality. You are literally the polar opposite of reality. What do you think is going to happen when we go through the rest of your post? And I'll try and be gentle with this, but if your first sentence is a load of bullshit, hopefully that starts to expand your mind a little bit and you go, wait, yeah, why did I just say that it was disrespectful? He doesn't think it's disrespectful. Maybe it takes two people to agree whether or not something is disrespectful. And even then, no, that's just their opinion. Why did I assume that my opinion, me, Jared, why did I assume my opinion was correct? My version of events was correct. And that's because you have an ego like the rest of us. We all have an ego, and it likes to assume that everything it says is correct and all of its opinions are the right ones and everyone else is wrong, stupid, dumb, blah, blah, blah. And so you were just believing your own opinions. You were believing your stories. You never checked to see if it was true or not. And a lot of the time when we check, yeah, our opinion is like literally the polar opposite of reality. I mean, let's fuck around. Let's keep going. That near hour of eloquent, God, I'm struggling to say that word, eloquent red-pilled truth. That was eloquent truth. Is that true? Maybe. You can say that, but there'll be someone else, maybe they'll leave a comment, maybe they won't, who'll be like, no, Andy just waffled for an hour about bullshit. And so who's correct? Was that an hour of eloquent red-pilled truth? Was it just a dude speaking his opinions and letting his ego go and just talking shit? That's just an opinion either way. Either one could be correct. And both of those people will fight. Like both of you will argue. You'll be like, that was correct. That was red pill truth. That was amazing. No, it was just a load of bullshit. Well, fuck you. Your opinion sucks. Well, fuck you. Your opinion sucks. That's politics, right? That's people on the left versus people on the right. Red states versus blue states. And it's like that in most countries, by the way. People will argue their opinions. Pineapple on pizza or no pineapple on pizza. Chocolate versus vanilla. This versus that. Men versus women. Let's just debate everything. White versus black. Homosexual versus fucking heterosexual. Let's just argue on everything. That's what the brain likes to do. It likes to say, my worldview and my opinions are correct. And if I say something is an hour of eloquent red pill truth, that must be correct. It's just your opinion, man. Next sentence. What more is there to be said? There's probably a billion more things that could be said. I didn't cover it all. It was 1 hour. How could I have said everything? So that's not even necessarily true. And I know that's just a turn of phrase. What more is there to be said? I know that's just a turn of phrase. I promise that I'm not just sitting here nitpicking. And none of what I'm doing, by the way, is me saying that your words are wrong. I hope that comes across. I'm just saying that we attach to every word that leaves our mouth, every thought that enters our head, we attach to it so strongly because it's mine. And we say it has some special truth or some special glamour because it's mine. It's my thought, so it must be good. It's my opinion, so it must be correct. It's my words on the page, so I'm going to defend them. And if you disagree with me, I'm going to fuck you up. How dare you disagree? And it's not just you that does this, my friend. This is what the brain does by default until we learn to question a little bit, until we open our mind to the possibility that there are other opinions out there or other people might have a different way of seeing things, or that we don't have to judge other people or ourselves. We don't have to hate chocolate ice cream just because we love vanilla ice cream. It's possible to love vanilla without hating chocolate. Let's keep going. Let's have fun with this, man. And I hope this comes across like what I'm trying to intend, which is for this to be fun, not to criticize what you're saying. So next sentence, I spin my own negativity like a prayer wheel. Is that true? Sit with that one. This one might really fucking open your mind. The statement here is basically, I'm attached to my own negativity. Like I guess you could say the statement is, I'm always negative, because you go on to say, it's been this way since age 18. So I'm always negative. Is that true? And this one will be really fun to play with because you might be like, yeah, Andy, you just sat there and said that I'm negative. Yeah, that's one story that we could tell. Plenty of evidence for that. We could go through your entire post here and be like, look how negative you are. Look how negative everything you're saying is. Plenty of evidence, right? We have a whole post here of evidence. But do you want to try playing with the opposite? Again, like I said, this one will be pretty fun if you play around with this. Like, I suggest you go and do this by yourself. Listen to me and watch this video or whatever, but like, go play with this yourself. Let's look for positivity in your post. Literally, let's look for evidence. So, where's the first bit of positivity? This was a near hour of eloquent red pill truth. That's you being incredibly positive. That's you being incredibly complimentary. You're trying to make me feel good. You're probably trying to make other people who watch the video feel good. Look at you being generous. You watched that video and then you felt compelled to share and answer and write your own thoughts. That's you giving a gift to all of us. That's you being very positive. You're literally trying to contribute something. You then give us a lot of vulnerability and honesty. You tell us that you've been spinning your negativity, which is funny because that's kind of what we're playing around with right now. But you, my friend, also spin a lot of your own positivity like a prayer wheel. I'm sure you have moments of happiness in your life. I'm sure you, I don't know, play video games and you smile, or you talk to your friends, or I don't know, eat a hamburger or whatever. You're going to have lots of positivity in your life as well. So you're probably really good at spinning your own positivity like a prayer wheel. What else have you done that's been really positive in this post? You go on to say, I live to tell my story. So you could have just shied yourself away. You could have killed yourself and ended your life. You could have just gone and been like a herbivore like they have in Japan and just completely opt out of society. But here you are sharing with all of us. You're living to tell your story. And I'm assuming what you mean by that is like, I'm trying to share my story so that other people can like not go through the same struggles that I went through. Like that's why you're sharing your story, I assume. Is that not the most positive thing you could ever fucking do in your entire life? Like you're literally here saying, I feel like I've struggled with negativity since 18. I've really felt down on myself, misfortune. I haven't built any sort of life, but I'm trying to help other people be better. My fucking friend, what could be more positive or generous of you than that? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, you're literally sitting here saying, I don't feel happy. I don't like my life, but I want to help other people. Like, what the fuck? What are you, Mother Teresa? Like, you have basically nothing to give, and yet you're trying to give anyway. Talk about spinning your own positivity like a prayer wheel. And we could keep going, man. We could keep fucking going. Look, my plan is to move to a better place. That's the most positive sentence that I've heard you say in this entire post. Holy shit, man. I want to go somewhere with better weather. That's you thinking about somewhere that could make you a little bit happier, or you would have a little bit more to give. You're thinking about weather and moving to a better place. This is so fucking beautiful, man. The fact that you're even playing around with like, maybe I could make a website where I'd state my complaints against God, like Job, blah, blah, blah. I know you're kind of being a little facetious and joking there, but like you're still even entertaining the idea. Like this is you. This whole post is you trying to help other people, man. What the fuck with your story about like I spin my own negativity? Like I said, sure, I'm sure you spin a lot of negativity, but it's not binary. It's not like all you ever do is spin negativity, because I have the evidence in front of me with your fucking post that you have positivity in you as well. And what I'm trying to get you to do here, what I'm trying to get you to see, is that you're more than just a one-dimensional character. This applies to all of you. There is more to you than just one facet. If you would stop objectifying yourselves for half a second, like you, my friend, have objectified yourself as a loser. You have objectified yourself as negative. You have objectified yourself as like, it's too late for me. I'm only here to tell my story because I can't have a good life. That might be partially true. But there's more to you than that, my friend. You are a winner. You are lovable. You have a lot of positivity in you. You've just been weaving this story that I'm only negative and nothing else. And so you see how if we start playing around with these concepts and we start looking for evidence, our stories start to disintegrate, or they let go of us a little bit. Our stories start to be a little bit less of a dark cloud over us that restricts us and makes us feel awful and small and like a victim. And we start to realize our inner inherent greatness, our inner inherent worthiness, our lovability. You are sitting here, my beautiful fucking friend, in pain. I can see the pain dripping off every sentence that you have written, but I can also see the hope in you. I can see the love. People who don't have any love or who don't feel any love don't write comments like this. They don't sit there and try and tell their story to help other people. They don't reach out to me or other people and ask for a little bit of help, which is what you're doing in this post. They don't do any of that. They go away and they kill themselves, or they hide themselves away completely. But you, somewhere deep inside you, have this part of you that's very, very, very loving and very, very, very giving. And this is it starting to come out. This is what you're capable of when you let yourself be. When you stop having all these expectations of who you should be or what you should have done or the past or regrets or the future's fucked or any of this, or I was betrayed, I was hurt. When you just let that go for even half a second, this beautiful fucking post is what comes out, my friend. Your inner glow, your inner lovability, your inner goodness, your inner kindness, your inner compassion for other people. Look at you telling your story so that other people can be a little bit better off. Like fucking hell, man. What a beautiful, it's not a sacrifice, but let's just say it as that. What a beautiful contribution or sacrifice you are making. You're passing on the baton to the next person and you're saying, here, I don't feel like I had a good life, but take this out of my hand, take what I have to tell, learn from me, try and be a little bit happier than I was able to be. or than I currently am able to be. That's fucking incredible, my man. And so maybe I won't go through the rest of your post, line by line, but play around with this a little bit more, because I can see in every sentence that you have written, I can see that you are dualistic. What I mean by that is you're right now seeing yourself as just like, I'm either good or I'm bad. I'm a loser or I'm nothing. I'm just thinking in these binary terms, but there's more to you than that, man. It's like the duality of man. Yeah, you're very negative, but you're also very positive. Yeah, you're a loser, or you can tell the story that you're a loser. I don't think you are, but you can tell that story. You got evidence for it. You got tons of evidence that you're a loser, but you're also a winner. Yeah, you're a fucking coward. I don't think you're a coward, but you probably do. So you can think that you're a coward. You can also think that you're a winner. You can think that you're a pussy. You can also think that you're one of the most courageous people that I've ever fucking met. I know we haven't met, but like that I've ever had a conversation with. You're both of those things, the duality of man or the duality of mankind, You are both a piece of shit and absolutely wonderful at the same time. How can I be both of those things at the same time? Because you're not just one thing. For fuck's sakes. You don't have to hate chocolate if you like vanilla. You don't have to call yourself a loser just because you haven't done certain things in life. You don't have to be a failure just because you failed at some things. You don't have to be a complete mess just because sometimes you're messy. You're not negative just because sometimes you're negative. It would be more accurate to say sometimes you're negative, sometimes you're positive, sometimes you're somewhere in between. Sometimes you might fall into negativity, cool, but you have moments and little pockets of hope and love and positivity. Let's focus on those. And yes, acknowledge that the negativity is there too, but you don't have to dwell in it. And if you dwell in it, that's okay too. You're just a human being trying to do his fucking best. All right, let's maybe finish up there. I really appreciate you sharing all of this. This was incredibly goddamn brave of you. Like, holy crap. I am inspired by your courage. Again, you have given me a complete and utter gift. It's funny that your paragraph or your post started with, I'm being disrespectful by just leaving a comment. No, you've given me a great gift. You've probably helped a lot of people listening to this as well. And so we thank you, man. Thank you for living to tell your story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave enough to live with all this suffering and struggle and pain that you're carrying around. You're infinitely more courageous than me, my friend. I feel pretty good most of the time. I'm not the one struggling to live and just living to tell my story. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your courage. Whatever your goals might be, whether that's money, relationships, sex and dating, fitness, health, friendships, whatever, we are here to help you make those beautiful goals come to life. Ed did it. Taylor did it. Harry did it. None of them are special. If you're listening to this, you know you're capable of more than you're currently giving. You already want something more than what everybody else around you seems to be content with. You want to achieve more, be more, give more to the world. You know it, and I know it. You're destined for something beautiful. Click the link to the coaching in the description below, and let us help you get there. Happiness starts today.